Hey everybody, I just wanted to do a quick video regarding my thoughts with the March 2024 developers notes. Now, if you're new and you don't really know what the developer notes are, basically at the end of every month, the director for Nikke tends to, talk about up and coming stuff they're working on, or their opinions on what's happening behind the scenes and stuff regarding player feedback. They do this at the end of every month. So if you're new from the RE0 collab, welcome. This is something that you could expect at the end of almost every month. They tend to keep it pretty frequent, and I just wanted to give my opinion on what's going on with these dev notes. I'm honestly kind of disappointed. So especially if you're new, you don't know what's going on. So last time ShiftUp talked about how they wanted to introduce these treasures, and now these treasures were going to be bond level items that you'd basically increase stats for the Nikkes that you have. But you needed to have max limit broken character, so you needed 4 copies of that character to get that specific item. And there was a lot of, I wouldn't say controversy, but a lot of opinions on how many Nikkes you needed just to get that. And especially from a free-to-play standpoint, it's hard to max limit break a character, especially, it's gotcha, it's all luck. And the way they approached it is odd, because instead of, I don't understand why ShiftUp continues to not add all the characters to the pity shop. And if you don't know what the pity shop is, basically once you amass 200 points of the gray currency, or even the gold currency, you could just outright get the characters for free. Except for the mileage shop, I believe that one just gives you spare bodies. It doesn't give you the character, it gives you spare bodies. Basically, once you get the character from actually pulling them, then you can apply the copies. And for some reason, even since day one, not all the characters have been in there, and they get updated randomly, and it's kind of confusing and frustrating why they don't just get added to that pity system. And they're only going to do it for when characters come out. I see that, honestly, it's just a pointless prevention of just helping free-to-players out. And I can't really understand why they don't want to just keep it updated. But anyway, and then they also wanted to talk about how the collectibles, they want to change it. Because of that feedback, they want to change it. And they're changing it from needing the 3 copies to only needing bond level 30. But here's the thing with that. That really only affects pilgrims and not non-pilgrims, because for normal Nikkes that aren't pilgrims, you need bond level 30 by getting the 3 copies. So regardless of the fact, that still doesn't really help that majority of the Nikkes in this game are not pilgrims, and that this is only going to help pilgrims that are already hard to get. So I don't think it's honestly that much helpful outside of that just like easing the burden on pilgrim copies, but even then that's like far from free to play. So that one's still kind of tough. And the annoying thing about this is that they delayed it from late April to late May, and I don't understand why they keep delaying everything, because ShiftUp pushes good content. Every time it's fun to play, but it takes so long in between content outside of events and stuff that it's frustrating, because we have yet to get any new dailies. And as someone that's been playing since day one, playing the same dailies is fine, but it gets monotonous, especially just waiting for the next event and next story and stuff. It's just, I wish there was more stuff for the daily grind. And it's a shame that another new item is already being delayed and pushed back constantly, and now it's delayed again. And then, just some normal, they wanted to update the advisory and stuff, make a quick feature for it, so that's cool, especially if you use the quick function a lot. I do for a lot of stuff. I like the interaction with Nikkes, so I don't know if I'm personally going to use it. But, to whoever, more power to you if you do. I really wanted to talk about the last 2 statements of these dev notes. So these last 2 dev notes, they talk about that they've been discussing whether the acquisition and consumption levels of manufacturing equipment are appropriate, and the quote unquote, they have observed our gaming experiences and concluded that the current level of equipment acquisition is still appropriate, and no, it's not. So the way that you actually get these acquisitions is actually from doing the interceptions, and from the interceptions you get a certain number of parts, and the higher you go to the last interception, you can even get like tier 9 stuff like the gold armor and stuff, and then that's the stuff that you use the blue rocks for, so you can upgrade them even further, and that's how you get your Nikke so high of a level despite just bond levels and just leveling them up naturally. And there's honestly an imbalance between getting random stuff, and then getting collab armor, which is the abnormal armor. You get so much of that, and there's not that many characters, and it's frustrating when you get so much of it and there's no characters to use it for, and you need specific armor pieces. A lot of the community really just wishes that they can just like throw in like 50 pieces of armor just to get one armor or something, and something along that lines, just to like at least use up a bunch of quote-unquote good parts to use it for one part that they want. Even if it's a little bit extreme, at least those parts can go somewhere that aren't being used anyway. And they choose to say that no, it's still appropriate, and it's really not. It's still, so it's frustrating that they seem to be so fucking confident in that. And then they talk about how some of the, you know, the parts are imbalanced, like the collab armor, and that they're still trying to introduce a system to consume the unused parts in a more meaningful way. But this is stuff that's still taking time, and there's no note when this is going to come out. So they go from talking about how, nah, this is good, to, well, we have something that can probably help, but we don't have a time frame. And that is frustrating. And then they go on to talk about how they're worried about pushing content too frequently, when this game has yet to get a new daily since the start of the game. There's been no new dailies outside of new content like solo raid and union raid and there's normal story events. There's nothing new for the daily grind, and it's frustrating that this seems to continue to be the case. And I just hope that they're cooking something for the half anniversary. That was just a slight little rant by me, but who knows? We'll see. I wonder how the community sentiment's going to be regarding that statement about that they still believe that's appropriate, but who knows. That's it for me. Take care.